Welcome to the Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. As the nation's first community college, JJC has played a key role in shaping America's higher education system. Our rich and beautiful history reaches more than a century into the past, forever connecting generations of alumni. I'm Jen Davis, Annual Giving and Alumni Relations Manager, and I will be your host. In each episode, we'll sit down with different alumni to uncover their most cherished memories, hear their inspiring tales, and get their hard-earned wisdom for future wolves. So, if you're ready, let's dive into the roots of our rich history and branch out into the stories that define us on this episode of the Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. Welcome back, everyone. I have been anxiously awaiting today's episode because we get to talk about a project that I personally believe is one of the coolest, most creative collaborations we have going on campus this summer. And in case you haven't heard the news, we are building a JJC alumni race car, and it's going to compete in the 5-0 race on August 2nd, supporting Special Olympics Illinois. This project is a collab between JJC's Automotive Department and the JJC Police Department. Now, before we get into the details of this awesome project, I want to introduce the alumni masterminds behind it. First, we have AJ Graff, who is our Manager of Automotive Services here at JJC. AJ, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. Excited to be here.
And next, we have Joe Stalzer, Associate Professor of Automotive Technology. Joe, thank you for being here today.
Good morning.
And last but not least, we have Jason Rose, who is our JJC Patrol Officer, automotive instructor, and our race car driver. Jason, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on this morning, Jen.
Guys, it's great having you here today to not only talk about this awesome project that we're all working on together here, but also just to talk about the great things going on in both of your departments and how that race car is going to tie into so many different things. But before we do that, I really want to take the opportunity to get you all to share your time that you were here as students at JJC, because based on what I know of the three of you, it sounds like your time as students really helped shape your future and how you actually landed in these roles back here at JJC. So let's start with you, AJ. You come from an alumni family in a sense, a JJC family, because your dad was an automotive instructor here, correct?
Yeah, he taught here, I think, for 17 years, retired in 2008, right after I got done going to classes here. I went from 2004 to 2006. And then, yeah, it was an interesting time to have my dad as a teacher. But
you had him as a teacher?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had him for brakes and fundamentals. It was an experience, that's to say. Kept me on track, and I'm sure I needed it at the time. So
yeah,
it was a great experience. I had Chris Benet as a service manager, and Jim Coleman, it was his first year. Actually, it was my first year here as a freshman. He ended up being the coordinator for a while there before he retired. So I really enjoyed my time here and really enjoy being employed here also.
Yeah, that I just think it's so cool that I guess I didn't realize when you told me that your dad worked here that obviously he would have ended up being one of your teachers. So no special treatment though, I'm sure, huh?
No, not at all. It was more, I was more under the magnifying glass, I guess you could say, than anything. So
okay. All right. Now, Jason, you also attended JJC sort of right out of high school, and you kind of came here because you had a pretty influential visit from an automotive instructor at your high school, right?
Correct. So back in the mid-90s, not to date myself, former coordinator John Rao came with his souped-up little Chevrolet pickup truck. At that time, it had a Camaro V8 under the hood. It was fuel-injected, air-conditioned. I mean, this was top transplant you could do at that time. And he said, if you attend this program, you could learn the skills to build a vehicle just like this. And remember, this is before cable TV was hot and all the YouTube channels. So I was hooked and I said, I have to join.
That's awesome. So that got you right in. And you also then were a part of the automotive program.
I was. I actually went through with Josh Graff, AJ's brother, and had his dad as an instructor as well. And I do remember, to credit AJ's story, I asked Josh at one point, there was a very difficult question. And I said, well, why don't you just look in your dad's book? He says, he keeps that stuff under lock and key. I had no idea.
That's hilarious. I didn't realize that either, that you went with Josh. Yeah. So what I didn't say in AJ's story is that his brother is also a big part of JJC's automotive program. So that's great. Now, Joe, your story is a little bit different, but I love it because it was actually your wife that encouraged you to come here as an adult. Like you were already in your career for 15 years, right? And then your wife encouraged you to come back to school?
Correct. Yeah. So she's been a teacher for a while, teaches high school, not in this area, but she convinced me to try that and decided to take a career change. Like I want to try something else. She's like, you should try teaching shop class. And then I went down the rabbit hole of, because at first I wasn't even thinking about like teaching here at the college. I was just going to be a high school teacher. Not that there's any, but I just wanted to do that because there was a spot from the high school I graduated. He was retiring. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to teach where I like graduated high school from, to be in the same school. So I came here to get my automotive degree because to do that, you have to have a certain amount of credit hours at a college. So I came here. And then when I was going through advising with Mr. Coleman, he's like, you really should be a college instructor, because he had taught both. And he was like, you should really think about being a college instructor. So then after, trying to make a long story short, right, I had Mr. Graff, Josh Graff, as a teacher, and he started pitching that in my ear too towards the end of like my tenure as a student here. He's like, you should really think about being a teacher. A spot's coming soon. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get on as soon as I graduated. So it was like,
it was fate.
Yeah, everything kind of lined up, and I'm really grateful, and I'm not regretting the change at all. This place is awesome.
Yeah, and it is pretty awesome. I got to tell you, so I had been teaching here for almost 10 years before I even had stepped foot into the automotive shop. And I would have automotive students in my English class all the time, and they would always talk about it. I knew it had a fantastic reputation. I knew it was state of the art, but I had never actually stepped foot in it. So then I had a group of students one semester, and they're like, come on, you're going to come down and see this. Now, I will preface by saying that my dad has worked on cars his whole life. So has my brother. I've seen my fair share of just like auto shops, but I could not believe my eyes when I walked in to what we have here at JJC. I mean, it's the most amazing facility, and it's almost hard to believe until you walk in yourself. AJ, what do you think sets our auto shop apart from other colleges, even in our area?
Well, we were lucky enough in 2011 to go through a remodel that the community backed, and we doubled our enrollment at the time. When we did that, the service shop, if you come down here, was state of the art at the time, based off dealership experience and dealership service shop. And the administration backed us, and our technical department backed us, the deans backed us, and they have since day one. And after we got the remodel. So everything has been kept up to date. It's cleaned every night. Our custodial staff does a fantastic job down here. And the processes and procedures we have just make this place a wonderful place. And they keep it state of the art. We have several partnerships with several different companies. Hunter Engineering is one of our big supporters. We're a training facility for them, so we get their brand new equipment all the time. Subaru, Toyota. Joe, I think you can speak more of the programs because he handles a lot of that type of stuff, but just staying up to date and keeping the administration in the loop on what we like to do, and they back us up. All of the presidents of the college since I've been here have been super supportive of our program, and I believe we are definitely the best in Illinois and probably the best in the nation when it comes to associate's degrees in automotive technology. We put out the best technician you can possibly put out, in my opinion. So
fantastic. Yeah, Joe, so what are some of our programs here? Students who are interested in automotive. Talk a little bit about that.
So as far as AJ was talking, we have some factory training for manufacturers like Ford, Toyota, we have Subaru, we just got Audi, Hyundai, we're working on GM and Honda, but they give our students a chance just to, so that way they can take the factory training just like I took when I was a dealer. I had my special dealership or VW training. Now the students can have access to this type of training, and it's one more like feather in their cap when they go to a dealer. It's like, oh, not only do you have this associate's degree, you also have every Toyota training you could possibly need to start like day one, and you just hit the ground running at a dealer, and they love that. It's worked out pretty well for the ones that definitely take advantage of it. We had a student recently, a local Ford dealer called us up and, hey, we need a technician like right now. And Miss Josh Graff called one of our students aside because one student was really into Ford. She went right over to the dealer. They hired her on the spot, like barely an interview. It's like, hey, welcome to Ford. And so she started right away. So it works out.
Does that happen often? Like, do you have a lot of students who leave your program, like going right into a job?
Yeah. And this student, for example, she was just a freshman. She's a sophomore now. It was just towards the end of this semester coming into the summer that Ford dealer ended up. But I mean, we have students most of the time by the time they graduate, for sure, they're already at a dealer or another just independent shop, or they're in the career already. If they're not by the end of freshman year, they definitely are by the end of sophomore year. So it works out pretty well.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And so I love that you guys are all back as alumni employees. And I know that there's something special about that. And it's something that we've talked about on this podcast a lot, of like what makes you gravitate back to where you were. And obviously it's because you loved the program and you love JJC and you want to come back. Jason, you had some really good sort of answers when we talked about this prior, about what you enjoy most about like being an alumni employee. I want you to share a little bit of that.
Well, for the first time in my educational career, when I was in the automotive program, I felt like I belonged. I had like-minded individuals that wanted to talk about cars, showed accomplishments in the field, and we were able to achieve a common goal. Coming from Lincoln Way District, it was sports, and outside of wrestling, I was not a sports guy. So thinking about that after going on and getting my bachelor's degree and doing the business world for 10 years and traveling all over the place, my wife worked here, and she said, it's such a great place to work. I have 2 brother-in-laws that are police officers. And I thought, how hard could it be? And the one thing that drew me to this the most was being an officer here is rewarding in the sense that there are no ticket quotas, even though it's against the law. They want you to inform the students the dangers of speeding. And for instance, like I've brought stuff into the automotive shop before. I've caught a couple of their kids speeding, and I let the instructors handle it. And they handle it, trust me. But it's rewarding to see them to start to take ownership of what they've done and realize, just because I wear the badge doesn't mean I'm going to come in there and just the law is the law. It's like, let's talk about what you've done. Let's think about how this could have hurt yourself or others. And then, you still got to pay for it. But let's talk with the coaches. I had good luck with the coaches, making them run extra laps. Automotive, making them clean and grease pits.
Yeah.
So it's fun in that regard.
That's great. So you kind of do 2 roles. I mean, obviously you're very involved in your role as an officer. You're also, your whole department, the JJC Police Department, are very community focused, student focused. You guys are always engaging in every way you possibly can, but you also get to step in front of the classroom too, right?
That's correct. So thanks to COVID, a lot of people fell off the radar as far as adjuncts. And I had made mention that I'd be interested in coming back and trying my hand as a adjunct instructor. And Mr. Graff and Casina were gracious enough to say, we'll give you a chance. And it took about 4 months. I got all 9 ASEs back. And it was surreal to stand in front of the classroom that I had been in 20 years prior. And then to be able to talk about the technology behind vehicles and share my experience when I was a technician and just see the young minds light up. And I think the best part, though, with dual roles is not everybody understands that during the day I'm a cop here. So it really throws them for a loop if they're playing in the bridge, I'm playing pool on the bridge, and then they see me like, Mr. Rose? I said, yes, that's right. I'm also a police officer. So ultimate goal is to become a full-time instructor, but that's truly where my heart is. But in the meantime,
that's awesome.
I'm happy to serve the community in the police officer role and still get to play with the automotive guys. So
that's fun. I think having those 2 roles is fantastic. So, okay, I think it's time now. We got to jump to this race car. So, we talked about how awesome our automotive shop is and all the opportunities that students get to do and work on, and how engaged the police department is in the community. So when you all proposed this project to us in the foundation, I mean, it just made sense. And obviously we're so excited about it. It's why I couldn't wait to have you on. But first of all, I want to know how this project came to be. And you guys can each kind of tap each other on that project. Joe, maybe I do start with you because the other guys pretty much said, all right, we got to give it. It was sort of Joe that spearheaded this project. Talk to me a little bit about how the idea came to be and how these 2 departments are going to kind of work together.
Yeah. So this kind of started, my friend of mine, he's a state trooper. He invited me to see this 5.0 race out at Grundy County about 2 years ago. I'm like, and we're like, really, what's it? So I went there with my family, and you see all the cop cars with their, the lights on and stuff. And then they do the race, and it was just a lot of fun. And then I started talking around and asking about it. And it turns out like, oh, all you need to have is a cop car and a police officer. Like, oh, we got those, right? So, but then it was like the law. It's like I said, it's been almost 2 years of asking questions and jumping through hoops. Thankfully, the foundation helped us out huge. And shout out to Department Chair Joe Lyman. He's really helped me jump through more hoops as far as get approvals for insurance, and Dean West and Amy Gray. And it's been good. But that's kind of how it started. And once I start talking with the students, they get excited to try to start, okay, we got to work on the car today. And some of it's not glamorous. It's like, hey, we're doing brakes, but it still needs to get done. So it's getting through it, and it's finally going together like this summer as soon as I got the help with I got the QR code and stuff. But yeah, it's coming along.
Yeah, that's great. AJ, did you come across any like logistical challenges that were getting, I don't know, parts, getting things together? What were some of those, challenges you had in getting this project off the ground?
The parts for the car, we had some other squad cars here from previous donations from the police force. So we were able to use a few of those. But Mr. Stalzer, he was the one that came up with QR code, I believe, for the donations. He worked with accounting and purchasing to set up a GL account to make sure that we had a way to spend off of our P cards. And then after that, it was because he knows most of the rules and regulations. He would just kind of tell the service desk what he needed, and then we would find it. The other service manager, Julian Resto, he's really good at finding hard to find parts. So he got after it with Mr. Stalzer, and they got it handled. But yeah, not too much. There's still a lot of Crown Vics out there where you can find parts for. So I think probably the race car stuff was the hardest part to find. And Mr. Stalzer, I think, can tell you about that. But the cage and all that stuff to make it safe, that was probably the hardest part overall.
Okay. Now, how'd you pick Jason as your driver? That's what I want to know. Did he volunteer? Did you guys tag him?
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. So when I first had the idea, I'm like, I know a guy. Jason, as it turns out, he's the adjunct for the classes I teach. So I see him every day before he starts his class. That's when I end the same exact class. So I have a pretty good relationship with him. And he likes to go fast. So I was like, do you want to do this, Jason? How do you feel about this?
He's your guy.
Yeah. If not, I'll get a Deputy Joe badge and I'll do it myself. But yeah, that's why we picked him.
Jason, have you been practicing? Do you have to take a car out and do some laps? Are you training for this big race?
Oh, every day on the ride home, Jen. No, in all seriousness, Joe's story is spot on. About 2 years ago, he came to me and he said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, well, I know of an officer that broke a couple ribs during one of the races. So being a family person, I am more interested in how am I protected and covered. So Stalzer went after it, and finally he came to me and says, aha, I have you insured. So what's your answer? I said, all right, I'm in. So then from there, we're like, how do we do this? How do we do this? And we just all collaborated and, started to get the ball rolling. It's turned into a big snowball now. So.
Yeah. And this collaboration, I think that what sold it, so you all put in Joe, you wrote it, I believe, but the proposal for the foundation's Awards for Innovation and Excellence grant, and talked about all the ways that this car is going to be a resource that's beyond just racing for Special Olympics. This is going to be something that's used in the classroom for students. So Joe, are students helping build this and put this together?
Yeah. So during the year, once we knew I got the go-ahead from like Joe Lyman and everything started falling in place. And before the award we just got from you guys, I started having students, okay, we have 4 Crown Vics. I picked the one that could be sacrificed as it's not going to ever be a lab car again, really. And yeah, like once a week, I would, throughout the shop class that AJ runs, hey, what do you need on the race car? Okay, have the students pull out the AC system, right? Or have the students take out the interior. And they've been tackling that one piece at a time. Now that we're in summer, I have 2 student workers with us, then they've been tackling some of the projects. And actually kind of another collaboration I have with the welding instructor, Jim Sobalski. He referenced a student of his that just graduated or finished his welding program, and now he's over here welding our roll cage today.
Another alum working at the car.
Well, he will be. Yeah. He's going to actually, this kid's pretty talented. He's also just enrolled in the auto program. So he finished welding and now he's going to do the auto program starting in the fall. So yeah, we're pretty excited to have him.
That's great. Now, Jason, how's this car going to be used through the JJC Police Department? Is it through PACE? How are you guys going to use it?
So for us, the building of the car is shared between the 2 departments, and automotive is predominantly running with it. Going back to my recruitment story, majority of that will be understanding that, hey, look, this is something that we're involved with. at the community college. So if you join the program, you have an opportunity to learn some racing aspects on that. And then as far as the police department is concerned, it's going to be more promotional. So we can talk about the Special Olympics, but if we have, we could bring it out to the cop on a rooftop, which
Yes.
always falls on graduation day. Anything of that nature we would use the car for. But predominantly, it will be for building the automotive community and, showing students, prospective students, that this isn't just come in, learn some things. This is a place where the sky truly is the limit.
Are you going to drive it in a parade? We got to show it off.
Yeah, if there's a parade opportunity, and a Christmas parade would be pretty cold having no windows in the car and no heat.
Oh, yeah,
If there's a warmer parade, I'd probably be interested in that.
Okay, perfect. So now the car, Joe, it's going to need maintenance, right? I mean, so there's always going to be an opportunity. Although you've received this grant and you've received some financial support, this will be something that you guys hope to do kind of year after year. Use it as a learning tool, use it as a promotional vehicle. So we're definitely going to link to some different ways that people can help out with the race car. You can make a donation specifically to that fund. What's the limit to get your name on the car? We heard that this is an option. You actually get to have your name or your company name put on the race car. What is that limit for donation?
So through the QR code that's in the flyer, it's $100 to get your name on it.
Okay.
I think right now marketing just came down because they're designing the stickers for it. So I was talking to them, and so yeah, it's $100, and the names just keep coming. So it's coming along pretty well. We also got some businesses on there, thankful for their contributions, and we're working on other grants and such to get even more assistance. But it's keeping the car not just for this race. In my mind, and with the other instructors like Mr. Borowski, Mr. Tiberi, we're going to keep pushes it for the next year and the next year, and definitely teach more about performance as far as like tuning and different gear ratios and things like that. It's more fun because you don't really get a chance to do this too much on, at dealership cars or just through the regular service shop that we run here. So, but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we'll make sure to share in our show notes the different links, the QR code and link you mentioned for making a donation to support the race car, have your name put on it. We'll also share the link to if you would like to support the racing team through the Special Olympics Illinois. We will share those opportunities as well. And also, just a little side note about our automotive department. We have an amazing alumni benefit partnership with our automotive program. It's VIP service, so not anybody can walk in and get their car serviced with automotive, but our alumni, if you have your alumni benefits card, you actually get to utilize the services during the school year in our automotive department. So if you would like to get your hands on an alumni benefit card and obviously just get your name on our list so that you can get our newsletter and announcements about all these amazing things that we're doing here on campus, you're going to want to visit jjc.edu/stay connected. That will give you the option to get your alumni benefits card and utilize those services. And obviously it'll keep you up to date on these wonderful things that you can give to and through the foundation, whether it's the race car or another fund that's important to you. So guys, I also want to encourage all of the listeners on here, if you are local to the area, our race car, our alumni race car is going to be at is it 5-0 race? That's what it's called, Jason?
Correct. August 2nd.
Yeah. And that is going to be taking place at the Grundy County Speedway on August 2nd. Yeah, so you can come cheer on the car. Hopefully your name is debuted on it because you've made a donation. So come out and support that wonderful event. Now, guys, I love to end our episodes by giving everybody the opportunity to give some advice to our future wolves. And I want all three of you to have that. It can be short and sweet, whatever you feel moved to. And Jason, I'm starting with you.
Well, thanks, Jen. I will say with JJC, the sky is the limit. You get out what you put in. There's many wonderful instructors here, many wonderful staff here. They're always willing to go the extra mile. So do not hesitate. Join up today.
Excellent. Thank you. AJ, what do you think your advice would be to new students coming in?
Don't be scared to try something new. The way our program works is you can come in not based knowing anything in auto at all. Turning the screwdriver the wrong way. That's the first few weeks tools. Trying something new. If you put forth the effort, the sky's the limit, just like Jason said.
Fantastic. Joe, your turn.
I would just like to say, when you do leave and become alumni, stay in touch with your instructor, especially the ones that help you out. Even yesterday, for instance, we had a graduate come in and stop to say hi. And a lot of there's a lot of alumni that support the programs here. So if you can help the college after you leave, it's a huge thank you. And it's more of a sign to us that we're doing it right, that we're trying our best, and you're appreciative. So thank you for those that have donated, and stay in touch with the college.
That was awesome advice, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. And I really appreciate the three of you taking the time. I know it's busy, but it's also summer where everyone gets a breather, and you came on to share this wonderful project. We are so excited for it here in the foundation. We think this is the creative, innovative work that makes our students' experiences so much more exciting. And I can't wait to come out and cheer you guys on August 2nd at the Grundy County Speedway. So thank you so much for being here.
Jen, thank you for having me on this morning, and I truly do appreciate you bringing this very special project to the spotlight.
Thanks for the opportunity, Jen. It was a great podcast and a great opportunity for our students to work on a project that I think is going to have a great opportunity for growth and advancement for the auto program.
Again, thank you, Jen, for the podcast. I'm glad to be invited. It's, again, like AJ said, it's a neat opportunity for our program and the college in general for recruitment and things like that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thanks again, guys. It's been a pleasure. And to all of our listeners, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. For more episodes, information, foundation events, and ways to give or get involved, visit jjc.edu/alumni.